Well, this is a bit impromptu, isn't it? Welcome to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. You're thinking to yourself, why the hell, Adam, are you doing a podcast prior to your TNA podcast coming out? I bet you never mentioned any new podcasts coming out today. Well, that's because I wasn't prepared for what I was just about to witness. PWA Pro Wrestling Australia just come off the air live on YouTube as they presented In a Cage. Jessica Troy, Charlie Evans, a decade of stories comes to a head. And boy, oh boy, did it come to a head. We'll get into that and so much more. First things first. Andy Rose, Chris Gale, you little legends. What a commentary team they are. They are one of my own heart. They can call people dickheads and God knows what wankers and whatever else. You guys need to do commentary everywhere because you are special. You made me laugh throughout of it. Even just those little sayings of calling them dickheads and whatnot else. And you tell great at telling the story of the match as well, or the match is, should I say, during this. But you boys are absolute rippers, as you guys would say over in Australia. Kudos to you two. You guys made this for me as well, watching it live on YouTube, along with quite a few hundred other people, to be fair. Loved the arena as well in Sydney there. They were brilliant. Made a big noise as well. The crowd were rockers all night. Looking forward to really, what surprised me. I mean, say surprise, it shouldn't surprise me about how good the wrestling scene is pretty much everywhere right now. But Jesus, you guys over there absolutely killed it. Big thanks to you guys for putting on a hell of a show. But look, we had the King of the Sword going on over there. Two semi-final matches and the final. Robbie Thorpe against Ben Braxton. Ben, who was with Rita Stone in this. These two, this was a really high pace. I said this the other day on a review. I went to an independent show over here in the UK, and I said, always start your matches hot because you want to take the crowd, get them up there. The crowd in Sydney or there were going crazy as it is. They needed a match to deliver the same passion, the same pace, the same noise as what the crowd were giving at the start of it. And I said at the UK show that I went to, I don't think the opening contest delivered in that. This semi-final, Robbie Thorpe, Ben Braxton absolutely did. Like I said, Ben Braxton accompanied by Rita Stone. Now, apologies to everyone at PWA. I am not clued in on everything that's been going on. This is the first time that I've sat there and watched one of your shows. Not because I don't want to, it's timing and everything else. So apologies about that in advance. So if I'm not clued up on the stories, I do apologize. I'm shooting this as literally you've just come off the air when I've shot this. So a big apologies if I sound a little bit what's the word? Well, just a little bit amateurish on this one. I don't mean to be. It's just again, first time I've seen your show. Um, this was a really good match. Now, Ben Braxton had an arm injury going into this, and what I liked about this straight away, because sometimes when you see, it took me back to Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins when Cody Rhodes tore his pec. He untook, he undone his coat. There was his big bruise. Seth was laughing, went straight for it. In some matches, you don't get that. The match takes time for someone to go straight onto it. But Robbie Thorpe didn't. He went straight onto the arm. He knew the weakness was there and he went straight for it. And I applaud that because it doesn't happen enough in wrestling. When you see a weakness, when you know somebody's injured, you should go straight for it. And it doesn't always happen. So I actually applaud that. Both of you guys were incredible talents. There's no doubt about that. You guys were incredible talents. Uh, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this match. I thoroughly enjoyed the match in that for that matter between the two here. The fact that he was going for the arm, the crowd were really into Ben Braxton. He had a front row, he had balloons going. Robbie Fort ripped them out of people's hands. That that was over before it even started. Really good. I really enjoyed this match, and I felt like a lot of the times. Um, when Ben Braxton could have had this match won, there was a delay in the pinfall, and this was great because what it showed you is the punishment that Robbie was giving to him, the fact that the pinfall's delayed and he couldn't get the job done because of the pinfall was so delayed in he hit a biggie like he hit a swanton. He couldn't get the cover straight away because of the injury to the arm. Really great storytelling in that because I tell you, you don't get that very often. People sometimes hurry into covers for this. So again, kudos to that. And throughout this, because of the injury, Robbie Thorpe was going for the chicken wing. He went he had a couple of times and he escaped it, but eventually the pain was too much for Ben Braxton, and he did indeed tap. And that is the end of that. And Robbie Thorpe got his way through to the final, which is a bit later on. But an interesting one after this was Ben was in with Rita. Now again, uh, Moretti come out. Now I don't know the backstory here. I think the backstory was that Moretti said that he couldn't get the job done. Basically, that Ben Braxton couldn't get the job done, and he didn't. He held his arm out for Ben Braxton to shake it. Eventually, he did, much to the chagrin of Rita Stone in that, and then he pushed Rita away and left with Moretti. Now, again, apologies if I've got the backstory wrong. That was what I was hearing. Interesting to see where that goes on your next show in May, which I'm really looking forward. And I will be watching that show, so I'll be looking forward to that. So that really good start. I've taken more notes in this than I have done in so many other matches. Right, Lockie McIntyre. So the second semi-final in this. Lockie McIntyre, Scotty Great. Oh my God, the music. The music of the dropouts was brilliant. Carter Dean was with Lockie in this, which is part of his team, and this is great. Again, this match wasn't particularly long. Um, but it was exciting. The start of this was Scotty Green flew out of the ring, sort of adjusted trajectory so he could land on Carter Dean and took him out. Again, you don't see that enough in wrestling. When someone's got a manager or someone brings somebody out to the outside, you don't see the opponent try and take that person out to neutralize him from the game. Again, great work with that. I did love that. I enjoyed that bit. There was a part where Lockie tried to low blow Scotty. However, wasn't successful because Scotty knew what was going on and wore a protective pad, a ball pad, for want of a better phrase, to protect his balls. And Lockie found out the hard way that he had that on him. That was tremendous. I loved that bit. And it wasn't long after that that Scotty Green got the victory. Once again, the match was pretty quick, to be fair. I wasn't quite sure. Again, I'm not vexed on how long these shows go for. So it was quite a surprise that this semi-final was quite quick. The other one was quite long. Scotty relatively unharmed going into the final after the interval on this. So a good victory there. Fun match. Really enjoyable. Bit of comedy in there, which we like to see as well. So again, kudos to everyone in PWA for that one. Then we get to well, it's a mixed tag, six person. North Shore Wrestling was in this. It's Chevs' group. Chevs obviously not involved in this particular contest because she is in the main event, which was going to be, or which is a cage match with Jessica Troy. Um, this again, we talked about songs in this, so I'll get to the song in a minute. It was Jack Osborne, Sam Osborne, and Will Cledis. Sorry if I got that name wrong. Against Mana and Manouche. Yes, Mana Manouche, who come out to the song "Fuck You." I'm not going to sing it, but it says "Fuck you" and "Fuck you too." So there you go. Gives you an idea. Again, really, this was great. I've never seen. Again, first time I've seen North Shore wrestling. I don't know too much about them. I know enough because I've seen the pictures and posters of Chevs and the team up there, and they're very, very impressive, I must say. Really impressive, actually, to be quite honest with you. They done a lot of what I liked about North Shore actually is they done a lot. It was a lot of old school tag teaming. They cut the ring off with El Phoenician in the ring. They were cutting that ring in half. They weren't allowing him anywhere near his tag partners to get a tag through this. And I really enjoy that aspect of old school wrestling. I really do. That's tag team 101. And again, tag team 101, or in this case, six person one on one, is the hot tag. So El Venetian was struggling. He could never get to the hot tag. And one bit that I actually really enjoyed, and again, this is going to sound so sad, but like there was a bit in this when El Venetian done a victory roll. I think it was one of the Osbournes in the ring, and the Osbourne when he kicked out, kicked him back, so he was back in the opposition corner. I thought that was it's a little thing like that because then he couldn't get the tag, but he ended up getting the tag from it. But it was such a great bit of ring awareness because it's like, okay, kick him out forwardly because you could kick him, push him out that way. He's right in his corner for the tag. They kicked him the other way into the opposite corner where the rest of North Shore Wrestling was. Little bits like that for me make it great because again, it's tag team 101. But he did manage to get the tag in that. Finally, a tag was made, and then it all kicked off. It was then going crazy at that point as Paletti got in the ring. I really enjoyed it when the tag got made. It got exciting again, but there was again a great bit of tag teamwork from North Shore Wrestling because a blind tag was made to I think it was to Jack Osborne at this point. There was a Shay come in. There was a super kick. There was a spinning DDT for a near fall in this. Now, North Shore Wrestling are the tag team champions. I might add the Osbournes are the tag team champions. They are very, very impressive. You know what? I'll be honest with you. The North Shore Wrestling, the Osbournes, I could see them definitely over in America making it. You look at tag teams over there. You look at TNA. AEW, WWE don't really tag team wrestling isn't their strong point. AEW, TNA have got those teams in abundance, and you put them in there, I think could be an incredible move. But I was actually there was a bit where they were trying to double team one of the Osbournes, and he hit him with a double lariat, hits a huge spine buster, and then finally though, it was a combination of a Samoan drop in and a Claymore drop kick got the win for Mana and Mamouche. Now, does that catapult them into the number one contenderships for the tag team championship? If you pin a tag champion, right, surely that means you get a title shot. Could that be coming up in May with the Rumble? Well, I don't know. And that we'll have to wait and see if that does happen. But it a really fun match. This one was like a combination of like there was a bit of comedy in there with the music and everything like that. North Shore Wrestling, no nonsense, kicking 10 bottles of shit out of you, to be quite honest with you, in this. I loved it. I was hard hit. It was hard hitting, it was quick pace, bit of comedy, had everything in it. But the winners, Mana and Manouche, now do, or does Mana and Manouche get an opportunity at those tag team championships? We'll find out uh, very, very soon on that. But PWA delivering big time on this. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed it so far. We then get to a Rumble match. Now, the Rumble match was the winner gets number 30. Now, you're going to have to apologize for this. I watched this live. I didn't get all the names, so I do forgive me for that. But I didn't get all the names. I got a few though. Obviously, there was Carter Dean from earlier on. There was Xander Sullivan in there earlier on as well. Rita Stone come back. She was pissed. Frankie B was in there as well. And then, of course, there was who I believe, as I'm turning my notes over on this, CJ Brown, is it Brownie or something like that? CJ Brownie, apologies. EC Brownie, sorry, maybe that is his name. Um, in there as well. And it was him that got the victory. Now, the big point about this is that the Tuck Man was meant to be in this match. However, someone that I know very, very well, Tony Sin, who when I come into Brit Rest, he was wrestling in the breakout division at Ignite Wrestling, who obviously I work for and do a lot of things for. So I'm fully aware of Tony Sin. Wasn't expecting him out. Attacked the Tuck Man and put him out of the Rumble. He absolutely did. He put him out of the Rumble. He was not able to compete. No, Tony Sin didn't even want none of the Rumble either. He just wanted the Tuck Man. Now, again, forgive my thing on this. I don't know the backstory, or if that was starting a story. I don't know. So yeah, I hold my hands up like I do throughout all this if I don't know the stuff. It's not about doing research. It's about watching and enjoying a show and then wanting to review it because I was so blown away by how good the show was. So again, apologies. I'm sure you guys can help me out here and let me know. But anyway, the Rumble itself, very exciting, very, very good. We had the old spot where I think it was Rita. She got thrown out, then dumped out the ring onto someone in the crowd that caught her. She got back onto the ring ropes. She was looking like she was going to eliminate everyone in this, but it didn't quite happen. Now, we also had a trio in there, and again, names have gone off on me, but in here, Mike, I think it was Mike Spencer. He eliminated his team in this. So again, apologies. That it was like MK Plus or something like that was the team, and yeah, he got eliminated. He eliminated his team partners who were annoyed. One of them was Kai something. Again, apologies. Not familiar. But anyway, he eliminated his team. One of them was irate. One of them was like, "Do you know what? All right, fair enough. You done us. So that was really good and entertaining to see. Rumbles are always entertaining. I thought that Rhea Stone was going to win this, but it wasn't the case. But CJ Brownie did eliminate at the end. But Frankie B wasn't eliminated and popped up near the end of this match, and it looked like she was going to win it. And then Snake Eyes into the corner, all over. EC Brownie, sorry, picks up the victory and gets the number 30 spot in the Rumble match in May, which I love a Rumble. So you got me already at the Rumble. I love Battle Royals. I love Rumbles. So I enjoy it. I really do enjoy it. And I'm looking forward to the next one without a shadow of a doubt. Right. Little PWA Championship. Aaron Jake, Big Fudge. Um, World Championship now. Aaron Jake, Big Fudge. And wow, this was again, so these were kind of like friends from what I can gather. It felt like a lot of this that Aaron Jake just in sometimes has hesitated doing things to Big Fudge when he's had the chance. He come out looking quite emotional onto the stage. Really good back and forth this. There were so many times during this match that I actually thought it was over and the match was finished. I really did, and it was really good for both. There's a lot of choke slams in this from Big Fudge. He did a super choke slam off the second or top rope as well, which was really, really good. Because I think they know each other so well, and the commentators did a great job of picking up on this. They were saying that, like, they had reversals. They were reversing the reversals because they knew each other so well. That was really good for the commentators to say that, especially from me because I've not seen it before. So I'm a bit like, okay, well, that's good to know that they obviously known about each other for a long time. They know their move set, so they're reversing the reversal. So this was really good on here. I really enjoyed. There was an eat defeat in there for a two as well, but the ending of this was an opportunity for Aaron Jake. He drop kicks Big Fudge into the referee, knocks the referee out, then picks up the PWA Heavyweight Championship. Now, at this point, this is where the commentators have mentioned he's been hesitant to do this in the past when he's had the chance. Well, he didn't hesitate this time. He went for it. He went into him, but he missed the belt shot. Then he copped a sick looking power driver and a choke slam. And Big Fudge retains the PWA World Heavyweight Championship. Congratulations to Big Fudge. Looking forward to seeing what happens to him. May 29th is the next one. Make sure if you're over in Australia, you get your tickets for that. It's a hell of a show. And PWA put on a hell of a show. But we move into the King Cobra, the sword match. Now, the match for the sword. This sword, it's not a sword that you defend, it's a sword that you basically get to keep. People have won it in the past. Zack Sabre Jr. Grayson Waller has won this in the past as well on this. I really thought this match was great. Robbie Green, sorry, Robbie Thorpe and Scott Green from earlier. Remember, Scott Green didn't have much to do in his match with Lachlan earlier on. He beat him fairly comfortably, shall we say, in the early goings of this match. So this was quite an interesting one because I wasn't sure where we were going to go with this, and whether or not that opening match of Robbie Thorpe took a lot out of him, whether that was going to play a factor into this because obviously Scott Green had a match, didn't have as long as a match earlier on, didn't really get much punishment done to him either during this. So I thought, whether that was going to be the predominant factor in this match, but there was such good action in this match. Talk about two people leaving it in there, in the ring. Uh, Absolutely phenomenal match. These two futures are very, very, very bright. That's for sure. But it was a monumental frog splash from Scott Green that gets the job done, and he is now King Cobra in PWA. So big congratulations to Scott Green, but kudos to Robbie Thorpe as well. What an impressive two matches that man had. And it was unfortunate that he come up short in this one, but very, very, very good. Both of them. Well, incredible, incredible moments. And again, big kudos to the both of those men in that match. What a great match. And now the King Cobra, which is Scott Green. As promo, as always they say in wrestling, you always have to, the promo package can sometimes make the match. And I tell you what, the production levels in the Chevs Jessica Troy production in that little promo, that in the promo package that aired before this match, insane. It really was insane. You don't get that very often. Now, this is big time stuff. You have to give him kudos to that because, I haven't seen it much. I mean, maybe Progress do it very, very well, but these guys, whoo, you made a big fight feel even bigger than the big fight feel, if that makes sense. And Cheb's made her way to the ring, looking lean as well. Not to say she has, but she posted about how she dropped some weight ahead of this, and she very, very looked very. I mean, she looked great anyway, but she looked very, very set on this. A decade friendship, betrayal, everything comes down to this cage match. Jessica Troy, Charlie Evans, good friends, bitter, bitter enemies, and my God, did they leave it all in that ring. I tell you, I've seen Chevs wrestle on a few occasions, and I know she's. I don't care like what anyone says. That girl needs to be signed. Sorry, that Chebs is unreal. She needs to be picked up. I know she wants AEW. I get it. She had the match in Ring of Honor as well recently. She needs to be picked up. And I don't know why she hasn't been picked up already, to be quite honest with you. She is tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. And Jessica in this as well. Both of them blew me away, to be quite honest in this. There was obviously they threw each other into the cage. There was a bit where Chevs went for a crossbody through the ropes. Jessica Troy moved out of the way and she went stomach first into the cage. Win by pinfall, submission, or escape from the cage, by the way, in this. Throughout this, though, Jessica Troy was trying to latch the Fujiwara armbar on, and she did actually through the top of the holes in one of the cage, part of the cage during this when they were fighting on top. It was crazy. Big Hurricane Rana off to kind of like from the top rope to the top of the cage. That went down as well. They had their bit where they were both kicked out at one of moves as well. In quick succession, they were brawling in the middle of the cage. You could tell this was personal in so many ways. Really, really, really good. Honestly, really good. But it was the Fujiwara armbar that would pay dividends for Jessica Troy as she gets a measure of revenge on Charlie Evans, and Charlie Evans does tap out at the end of this. They sort of share some glances to each other at the end of the match. I don't know if that's a respect thing, if that's still it's not over. I don't know. But a hellacious cage match between the two, and Jessica Troy picks up the victories. And congratulations to Jessica. Commiserations to Chebs, but you put on a brutal war in that cage, girls. You brought it home for PWA. PWA battered you up. Home run. First one I've watched. Absolutely brilliant. I'll be tuning in May 29th. Can't wait for it. Looking very much forward to that next one. Guys, check them out. If you're over here in the UK, just check out Pro Wrestling Australia on YouTube. I will have their link in the description below. Check it out. It went live today. Honestly, check it out. You will not be disappointed. I did say that we'd be back at the weekend. We are going to be back at the weekend. Well, you may see TNA first, you may not. Check this one out. Check us out. HTT Buckle everywhere. We'll see you on the other side of the weekend. Until then, everybody, buckle down. Stay safe.